You're watching Taste of Victory.
Okay, I'm up. Oh man, okay. This came out of nowhere, but I'm awake now. I would have been nice with some warning, but I'm up. Luckily, I'm working from home, so I could cover the ban list announcement today because we got a huge one out of nowhere. It's just really funny that when Bandai announced the ban list, it was like one card, Greymon next to one, and now, literally without any warning, we get this insane list of 4 cards restricted to 1. So this is the new ban list that just dropped this morning at 6 a.m. our time in North America, effective June 1st. So very soon, like just a week away basically, we are getting 4 cards that are restricted to 1. And that is going to be Blossomon from BT3, Impmon from X2, Rare Garurumon promo, and Grand Kuwagamon promo. They are all going to 1 copy. So this is insane because they just came out of nowhere and they're finally acting on Impmon, which is a fairly fast response. We had a starter deck for a while, so people got to enjoy it. The stuff from the starter deck was just an upgrade, so I think, yeah, you probably do hit it now, so it's cool to see that they acted somewhat fast enough. And we do have the link to the official website, which explains the reasons for each ban, so let's just go ahead and take a quick look at them, or rather each limit. They're all just going to 1, they're not banned. Let's see, so Blossomon, which I didn't even know had an alt art. When you use Plant, Vegetation, Fairy decks, this card can easily digivolve to level 6 even with very little memory. This limits the future game design possibilities for green cards and Plant, Vegetation, Fairy decks. It also removes the need for another level 5 card with Digisorption. For these reasons, we've decided to restrict this card to 1 copy per deck. I wonder if like green players are just gonna have to start running Pistonmon now. Like the options for Digisorption are going down like crazy. I get it, because Bloom is able to spit out bodies like crazy and go up to level 6 so fast. It wasn't really doing anything either, but with the new support of Rosemon coming soon, like maybe in Japan has been doing too well, or they fear it'll do too good here, or just that like Blossomon is restricting these decks too much, because like you're always going for Blossomon, 2 to 3 Blossomons. But this is the second Digisorption card to go to 1 at this point, so I am positive we are never getting Digisorption again. It really feels like the entire archetype, not even archetype, it really feels like the entire color of green was just a mistake in Bandai's eyes. Like, the entire point of the color is fast ramp for like somewhat lower payoff because of how faster you can get to it. But if you want to make this color able to compete, it needs to be somewhat good effects, and with how fast you can get to it, like it just makes it kind of problematic for other decks to keep up with. Hidden Potential Discovered is to 1, Argomon level 5 is to 1, Blossomon is to 1. It's just kind of crazy at this point, you know, like was green as a whole color a mistake? But I get it. I do genuinely understand why they are doing this for this color, because like it's consistent with the philosophy they've been banning the other Digisorber with, because like it's just always going to be an auto include in these decks as the main level 5. If you want to promote diversity in deck building, all right, I get it, but yeah, probably if we ever get Digisorption again, it'll only be like -1 or something from now on, because yeah, these cards seem to always be auto includes, and Bandai doesn't seem to be too happy with that, and it gets you up so fast. It helps you extend turns a ton. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, Digisorption. So I'm not too hurt personally by this limit, but I also don't play Bloomlord, so like I don't know. After that, we got Impmon. So this is the first hit to the new Beelzemon deck that got upgraded with the starter deck. So this is cool, but it's also very strange because this is putting X2 Impmon to 1, which means like the ban list for Ultimate Cup is pointless now. That's just literally the deck you have to run. But so I don't know. That's funny in my opinion. But anyways, in current Beelzemon decks, this card has an effect that can trash an additional card from the deck when this card is trashed, making it too easy to build up cards in the trash. Additionally, it even removes the need for cards such as ST14 Ayamako to place a card at the top of your deck, so it can activate an effect when it is trashed from the deck, accelerating the game speed and limiting future game design possibilities for cards that reference the number of cards in your trash. For this reason, we decided to restrict this card to 1 copy per deck. I think this is way too nice on Beelzemon. Bandai has a habit of slapping decks on the wrist and letting them go on the ban list pretty easily. This card should be 0. Like if I'm hitting this 1 card 1 time at all in a Beelzemon deck, I'm high rolling and I'm probably winning the game. Like it's just how it's gonna be, because it speeds me up so much. Like before it was insane. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna win on turn 2 usually because I hit 2 of these in one turn, you know. So now that's at least a little bit reduced, because the odds of ever seeing it and only trashing an additional 3 more instead of like 6 to 9, whatever. But still, this is insane because I still have the possibility to high roll it, hit it, and win that game. It's still a really great card that I'm always going to include. And Beelzemon can very easily replace this. Oh no, this is down to 1 copy. I'll put in more copies of BT2 Impmon, which is a great trap card basically in the mirror, which messes up your opponent. You could potentially gain back memory if you have an ST Beelzemon and that card on the field and, you know, skip their turn. You could also just put in more clusters. There's a lot of stuff you could easily replace with this deck, and while it absolutely does slow the deck down, I don't think to a degree where it hurts the deck very much at all, and they don't mind as much. It'll definitely go down in usage. It definitely slows the deck down. I think Hunter's is going to be an incredibly good deck now, and Blackboard Greymon Raid is going to be able to breathe a lot more, so maybe this will lead to a bit more of a diverse meta, but Yeah, it's not enough of a hit. This should have been 0 in my opinion. Ban cards, like stop putting stuff to just 1. You know, that's how I feel personally. But they have the data to back stuff up. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason it's only at 1. Then we have Where Garurumon, a very overdue hit, and I really thought at this point they just forgot about the deck and weren't going to hit it. I am actually very surprised to see this here, to see that it didn't get banned already by BT11 still. I really didn't think this was going to get touched. I saw the promos a long time ago before Nats because I wasn't going to play it at Nats, and I thought we were going to get a ban list before then. It never came, so I was thinking, maybe I'll just rebuy this and have it as like a deck for friends that could play that want to get into the game, like a really good intro, strong starting point. And now here it is, it's hit. I really wasn't expecting this. I thought at this point, like, well, the deck's really fallen off by now, so maybe they just forget about it. But here we are. In current decks that use BT9 where Garurumon X Antibody, a quick defeat is possible with this card. It doesn't have extreme power in current play environments. Wow, they're even acknowledging that it kind of fell off. But this card limits future game design possibilities for decks that reference the name Garurumon. For this reason, we decided to restrict the card to 1 copy per deck. Yes, I really like that philosophy. Yes, it's not a problem now, but it still limits your future game design. Any really good level 4 or level 6 Garurumon that benefits off of this thing's inheritables or restands or anything like that will always potentially be a problem when interacting with this card, especially if we're still going to have the level 5 X Antibody and that option card in play in the game. So, like, yeah. This is a good hit. Yes, it's not doing anything right now, but you have to think about future game designs and the possibility of this thing coming back. It is such an easy to pilot and win with deck, winning often on 1 turn like Beelzemon does, so I think it is good to just get rid of it now. You shouldn't always be exclusively basing off tournament results of the current set, so because this is a ridiculous card. I think the problem is X Antibody in general as an archetype is what needs to be hit. Like, they need to like ban X Antibody and like reprint a new one that's a little more balanced, I think. That option card, the 0 cost one. Otherwise, we're just going to be playing whack-a-mole with X Antibody decks. But this is a good hit nonetheless, so at least it's a 1, so you can still use it somewhat. Anyways, next we have our final card limited to 1 on this list, and that is Grand Kuwagamon Promo 025. As this card can add multiple activations of Security Tech +1, this card allows decks with BT9 Grandest Kuwagamon to easily defeat an opponent in a short amount of time. The attack player has few methods of defense, and this card has been used in play environments for longer than we expected. For these reasons, this card limits the future game design possibilities for decks that feature Grand Kuwagamon or Insectoid cards. Therefore, we decided to restrict this card to 1 copy per deck. And that is it for this current list. I think, again, this is another too little too late deck because Grand Kuwagamon very much fell off. But that said, it's still a fast OTK deck that is always going to be good. Any kind of green support that even remotely synergizes with this thing would probably bring it back into relevance. And this is a deck that people just hate to play against because, as mentioned here, there is very little you can do. What can you do against this thing? They just pull out of memory. It doesn't matter how many blockers you have unless you have like 4 of them, because then Grandest Kuwagamon is going to suspend, swing over, and pierce and still get its checks in. So like you're just praying to some crazy bomb and security to delete this thing, and that's it. Or that they brick and they lose to themselves, basically. It's all you can really do against this deck once they have their full combo up. Otherwise, you have to hope to rush them down and beat them before they see all their pieces, since Grand Kuwagamon is a deck that doesn't have too good draw power or recovery to stabilize. So yeah, I am glad nonetheless that these X Antibody decks are finally getting hits. I mean, yeah, every problem in this game stems from BT9. Like, it was just such a mistake of a set. So I'm glad that they're addressing these finally, because like in the future these could come up. But the thing is, like, the new problem is X2 Impmon. I think this thing is dominating more top 8 results than we've seen in the past since like BT7. With Blue Hybrid, I don't think anyone X Antibody deck, even where Garurumon, dominated as hard as Impmon is doing off our first regionals, if I'm not mistaken. But like, I could totally be wrong off that because I'm not looking it up. I just woke up, you know. But so I do appreciate that they addressed this quickly. I just don't think it was enough. This thing should be 0. Maybe hit something else as well. I know they're probably not going to hit anything within their new starter deck because they want new players to be able to buy this incredibly strong deck and be able to play out the gate. But there's got to be something else they could have touched in addition to this, or at the very least, just put this guy to 0 is all I would have asked for. Otherwise, I think I totally understand the other restrictions. I'm happy with Grand Kuwagamon. I'm happy with her Guru promo. Blossomon, I understand. I don't know if you really needed to, because like I think, yeah, sure, with the new support, it's really more Rosemon focused though. Once we get into BT13 from what we've been seeing from Japanese results. But nonetheless, this is consistent with their philosophy for hitting the Digisorption card. So for hitting the Digisorption Argomon, so I get it. Either way, it's nice to get a ban list out of nowhere. This is really cool. I think they're good hits overall, maybe a little too late, and maybe they could have been a bit more aggressive towards Hitmon, but yeah, but these are my feelings on the cards that have been limited to 1 and why I feel that way for each one. Let me know what you guys think of the ban list in the description below. Was this a good one? Should this come sooner? Should this have been more aggressive? Overall, I'm pretty happy. Now I'm kind of just worried that Hunters and Black Warrior grades might be uncontestable, because this, I think, slows it down enough where Hunters and Black Warrior Greymon can compete, but maybe that just leads us to a more diverse meta, because I do still think Beelzemon's going to be topping rather than those two decks overrunning the metagame. So I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.